Hey, I'm so glad to see you again. Welcome back to this week's episode of Closed by Mo. My name is Mohammed. I'm hopefully your favorite YouTube host on most things real estate. I'm also a real estate investor and a realtor based out of New York City. This week's episode, we're going to take a little bit of a different direction. Instead of talking about all the benefits and the different quirks of investing in real estate, today I'm going to be talking more about the dangers of investing in real estate because as we all know, real estate is definitely not for everyone, and if you don't do it well, you might end up losing all the clothes off of your back. So without further ado, let's jump right into some of the top ways that real estate investing is actually pretty dangerous. Now, one of the biggest risks of investing in real estate is something that no one else is actually immune to. It is what we call market volatility, right? There might be a worldwide pandemic, there might be the start of a new war, and that might wreak havoc on raw materials, supplies, oil prices, and even interest rates. And whenever stuff like that happens, real estate prices, especially when consumer confidence isn't strong, real estate prices can definitely get affected. As we've seen over the last couple of years with the rising interest rates, the different pockets of the country or neighborhoods that you might even be living in might have had their real estate prices fluctuate a lot. And for someone that, let's say, may have overpaid to purchase an investment on a variable mortgage rate, is now really feeling the pinch because their interest rates and payments are going up, but the amount of cash or their value or their overall net worth is actually going down. The second dangerous part of investing in real estate is the fact that you're not as liquid as you'd like to be. Now, what I mean by that is, let's say you take $100,000 and you invest them into stocks and bonds and whatever it is. If you decided to overnight say, hey, you know what, I'm going to sell all my stocks, I'm going to cash out with whatever profit or loss I have and just walk away, you can make that decision pretty quickly, right? You can log into your app, your Charles Schwab or your Robinhood and say, hey, you know what, I want out, and that's it. In real estate, it's really not that case all the time. What I mean by that is, let's say you invest a bunch of money in a particular portfolio or even buying a house, for example, for investment, and you're like, you know what, this isn't working out, and you want to walk away for whatever reason, you're not going to be able to cash out your money right away, right? You have to prepare your house for listing, you got to go through negotiations, you got to eventually make sure that the buyer can get their mortgage, or if it's wait out for an all cash buyer to come through. You have to go through a period of waiting, and that's why we say real estate is not liquid. And I always end up advising my clients too, if your goal is to have as much liquidity as possible and not the long game, then this just isn't for you, because you will get scared, you will panic, and you're going to make decisions based out of fear, not out of long-term thinking. The third thing that is very dangerous in terms of real estate investing that a lot of people don't necessarily think about is maintenance and repairs, right? It might sound like a very basic thing, especially when you buy your first home or first investment property, but a lot of people just aren't prepared for it. Unless you're buying something that's totally turnkey and you don't have to spend any money on it in the first couple of years, a house or a property, any kind of scale, whether it's single family or like a huge apartment building, this is a machine. It's like an organism. It has things that are moving, that need to get oiled up, that need to get tweaked and serviced. It's part of regular ongoing maintenance repairs, and you should be looking at any kind of investment with that particular cost also accounted for, because you don't want to run into a situation where you suddenly have a big ticket purchase item like a roof or a hot water tank or a boiler that needs to get replaced, because that is seriously going to affect how your investment returns are, and that's why it's one of the biggest dangers of real estate investing. The fourth thing about why real estate investing is dangerous is just the legal and regulatory issues, right? State by state, rental housing and fair housing may also differ. But for example, let's take New York State. New York State in 2019 passed the 2019 Protection Act, which put into law very strict laws in favor of tenants against landlords in terms of whether or not you can deny someone based on an eviction, how high you can raise rent if you own a rent regulated or rent stabilized apartment, as well as how you can recover legal fees, for example. So there's always different legal and regulatory issues that are being changed, and as a landlord, as a real estate investor, you have to stay on top of these things, and if you're not, it does become a very big danger, especially when you've put your money out on the streets, or you've put your money into a specific deal. Now, the last issue, which I think definitely comes with the territory of investing any kind of real estate upfront and not just investing in a syndication or some kind of real estate fund, is tenant issues, right? At the end of the day, real estate is a people-to-people business, whether you're being, brokering transactions like myself, or you're actually a landlord and you have a lot of customers, which are your tenants per se. These are people that have lives, right? And sometimes bad things happen to good people, and someone might lose a job and then they can't pay their rent. that's something that you have to keep in mind, and you as a landlord are actively responsible for, especially if you don't have a property manager in place. So you might, let's say, own a multifamily home, and suddenly all your residents lose their jobs and they're not able to pay rent. That's something you might not be able to, plan ahead for, but it comes with the territory of being a landlord and being a real estate investor. So it is definitely a danger of real estate investing, because your money is not necessarily always guaranteed, because there's always going to be risks associated with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because I definitely had a lot of fun making it. Those are the, I would say, top risks when it comes to real estate investing, because it definitely isn't all butterflies and sunshines and mail check money. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.